All right, very, very excited to have this next guest on the Zero Hour Squared Classics. I'm Mike Trujillo, joining you right now, and joining me right now are celebrating 45 years of British hard rock and new wave of British heavy metal. Out now with their 14th studio album entitled "What the 45" or WT45. What do you prefer to call it?
We say like, what the 45?
That's what I thought. What the
Yeah.
45 is the name of their brand new album. And it's via Silver Lining Music. Please welcome guitarist and backing vocalist for the band Girlschool, Jackie Jax Chambers, but also the band consists of Kim McAuliffe on guitars and vocals, Denise Dufort on drums, and Tracy Lamb on bass. Again, welcome to the Zero Hour Squared Classics, all the way from England. We've got Jackie Chambers of Girlschool. How you doing, Jackie? Thanks for joining
I'm
us.
doing great. I'm doing great, thanks. It's a bit dreary in England today, so it looks nice where you are. Can we come?
Oh, okay. Over 40 years, the longest running all-female band from the UK. Literally, what the fuck? That's crazy. 45
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. It's incredible. This day and age, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, Denise and Kim have been in it right from the beginning, the full 45 years, never split up. Been a few different members. Obviously, the original lead guitarist, Kelly Johnson, died. So I took over in 99. So I've been 24 years now, which is crazy, over half the band's life.
Yeah,
It's
that's
quite amazing, 45 years, isn't it, really, this day and age, without splitting up.
so when you joined the band back then in 19, you said 1999, did you
Hmm.
did you expect to have another 20 some odd years in front of you with Girlschool?
No way. When I joined, I really thought, oh, it'd be a couple of gigs, it'd be a bit of fun with my mates, because I'd known them about 4 or 5 years already by then. And I just thought, I'll just do a couple of gigs and it'll be a bit of fun. And here I am, 24, nearly 25 years later, still doing it, still touring, still recording and loving it. So why not?
That's an amazing run, though, for any band. But I
Yeah.
mean, given the circumstances, again, you replacing Kelly when she passed away, how did that all work out? How did you end up joining? You said you had kind of known them, known Girl School beforehand, but how did it work out that you joined the band?
Well, in 95, I was in a few bands before that, obviously. And I just left this band and I put an advertisement in a local music paper called Melody Maker. And Kim actually answered the advert. She wanted to do a side project besides a girls' school. And we found out that we lived like 2 stops away from each other on the tube, so very close. We got on really well on the phone. So we met up that night, went to the pub, saw her boyfriend's band play, and we decided to do some songwriting together. This is about 1995. And of course, I got to know Kelly and Denise and Tracy and Enid. We got to hang out a lot and we've just become really good friends. And they were trying to persuade me, Kelly was trying to persuade me to join the band even then because she just had enough. She'd done it all her life, really, and she wanted to do something different. So, and at that point, I was a punk rocker. I'd never played lead in my life. I was just playing riffs and, bar chords. So she took me aside and said, look, if I teach you the songs, and Chris Bonacci, she taught me the songs, then would I join them? Oh, yeah, go on then. Thinking it'd never happen. I really didn't think it was ever going to happen. So I went away for 3 or 4 months, practiced. And we did a gig. That was it. So the rest is history. Here I am still.
Nice, yeah. And by the way, you guys
Yeah,
look great, you sound great. There's so many things I want to get to.
thank
Um,
you.
I know that there's a lot of memories that we'll probably cover over the course of all of these 45 years, and definitely want to talk about the brand new album. But you've obviously outlived a lot of those groups. There's still some that are still around, fortunately for us. But I mean, we're talking about bands from Def Leppard, Saxon,
Mm.
Venom,
Uh,
Tigers of Pantang. I mean, you name it, Holocaust, Satan. I mean, there's so many of those bands that came out from that. What do you really remember about Girl School's contribution in regards to that? Because obviously the uniqueness of an all-female hard rock and heavy metal band separated you from the pack. Yet, I think for a large part, for fans like me, when we were, at that age where a lot of these bands were coming out in the late 70s, early 80s, you were looked upon very cool because it wasn't like, oh, it's a novelty act, oh, it's an all-female band. It was just another badass band from England that we all got into and really thought that you guys were very cool.
yeah. But I mean, obviously at the time, it was like bands don't put themselves in these genres. It's generally music papers, the press who do that. And Girlschool, because Girlschool were playing with Motorhead, obviously, which was another big one in the new wave of British heavy metal, and Iron Maiden, all these bands, they were all friends. So they all on tour together playing the same sort of music. And we just got put into that bracket, and we still are in that bracket. We still play a new wave of British heavy metal festivals. And there's still some of the same bands, Magnum were included in that as well. And they're still around. Jaguar, I think Raven might have been still included in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still, it's amazing how they're all, well, a lot of them split up and they came back. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we've just been there for the full time. We just keep playing, just keep playing. I guess we just got put into that bracket without not really knowing what it was going to mean in a few years' time. I don't think anybody thinks about those things. Nobody really thinks, oh, well, let's write music to fit into this, genre of music and be like the rest of them. You just kind of get put in there, really, don't you?
Right. But and that's amazing because I mean, just some of the bands you mentioned there too as well. I forgot it. Raven. All of these bands were integral in first off, not only just in England and also in the United States, but worldwide. The impact that you all had was just absolutely amazing. And again, when I think about Girlschool, I think a lot of times you'll probably get the question 100 times today, and you've probably gotten it 1,000 times before. But the impact, of course, what you've had on women in rock has been, it's absolutely amazing. But again, you guys were a tough group. Almost, we can't talk about Girlschool without Lemmy and how he kind of envisioned what Girlschool and what other bands were doing at the time. Some of the other, I mean, I remember him working with Samantha Fox. Obviously, she's not a metal artist, but there was a lot of artists, a lot of female artists. Wendy Williams. It seemed like he had a broader vision. So a lot of times when it comes to Lemmy, it's almost like, all right, well, he was one of the greatest rock and rollers. He was tough, but there was a period of time where it was kind of not the big contemporary artists that were, like your Ozzies and Iron Maidens that made it gigantic in the United States. But Motorhead was always kind of felt underground. But then when they came up and he started jamming with you guys here and there doing they sing Valentine's Day Massacre, Please Don't Touch, all of that stuff. It felt like you guys were kind of a gang. And I was like, I thought about that as a fan, like, damn, this is cool. Girlschool, Motorhead, Saxon, these kind of bands they're highly more impactful than what meets the eye.
Yeah, he really championed us. I mean, he always said that we were Motorhead's little sisters. I guess because of the 1980, I think, or 81 tour they did together back then. So, I mean, they all got on and he really respected the band and he helped us wherever he could, right from the very end, right to the very end, shall I say. We were on the very last tour when Lemmy went. So, I mean, he's been there for a lot of people. He champions music. He doesn't see, oh, it's a female band and a male band. A lot of times he said, hey, guys, they're better than you. So who cares if they're female? Because we never look at ourselves as female musicians, we're just musicians who happen to be in female bodies.
Right.
It's it's nothing to do with, you hear a guitar player play and you can tell that's a girl. You just can't unless you see it. So that should just disappear altogether, that. But again, Lemmy used to champion female musicians, always give them a chance, put them on the bill. It's always good. Great for us, obviously.
Yeah, I consider him a visionary in that regard. And obviously, I don't want to make this about Lemmy and Motorhead. This is about Girlschool. But I mean, again, it's a very big and very important history, particularly in a time when you all came out as well. There weren't a lot of female bands that were not, unless they were like these pop bands or like in America, a lot of Motown artists, like the beginning of the kind of all-girl groups. But when you guys played, you slayed. It was heavy guitar. It was fast. It was partying. It was a lot of fun, and it felt very tough. And I think when you think about some of the bands that were in and around that time, your contemporary female artists like the Go-Go's, who are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame from America and the punk rock side, and then there's kind of the the Rock Goddess, who I know Girlschool kind of had ties with that band, but there was so many other really, really kick-ass artists. And I'm kind of going back in my mind thinking about when I would read Metal Forces and those magazines. Like, it's a blast from the past, but with those artists, without yourself, there wouldn't be some of what we're seeing today. And I think does it ever get tired and cliche when people ask you about the importance of women artists? Does it ever get old?
I mean, it is and it isn't, because obviously it's always going to be a relevant point to the band. I mean, it's just that it's when people say, "What's it like to be a female musician?" Well, it's just the same as being a male musician in a different kind of body. It's just
Right.
we're musicians in these bodies. It's not that we're doing anything different. We're just playing music that we enjoy, and we're putting it out there. We give it as much welly as the men do because we enjoy it as much as the men do. There's no difference in that way whatsoever. So it should never be really irrelevant in music. Oh, it's a girl band. Oh, what bother going to see them? Because, there's some, like you said, some kick-ass bands out there right now, male and female. You just go see them, enjoy the music. It's all about the song at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's talk about the brand new album. Let's talk about the here and the now. We'll get to some of the memories, but as we mentioned earlier, your album is What the 45. That's how you want it called, right? Not
Yeah,
W.
what the
What the
45?
45. It's 12 songs of just high energy, power, a lot of fun. Nothing deviated from any Girlschool blueprint. So when you approach this album, what were when you had these songs in mind, were a lot of them kind of there for a while, or were these like brand
No, no, we're a bit last minute like that. Because I have a sort of studio upstairs, I tend to write riffs for the guitar and get like a start, an idea, and then me and Kim are on Zoom, sort of going backwards and forwards. What do you think of this? Oh yeah, I can think of a title for that, and then we come back next week and put a bit more to it. But Girl School is Girl School. We never go for whistles and bangs. We're straight through the amp. We don't use effects. We're nothing like that. We just like rock and roll music, just straightforward. Keep it simple and just have some fun with it. It's nothing deeply political. A couple of lyrics here and there, but nothing deeply political and serious. It's all about having a good time, isn't it? Rock and roll music is an escape. It's fun. It's not meant to be deadly serious and whatever. So we just have fun with it in the studio. I mean, we literally went in the studio. Some of the songs weren't even finished. We went in and we did it in 2 weeks exactly, 14 days, start to finish, just like bang, bang, bang. No, no laboring over a piece of music or a vocal, whatever. Come on, let's just get in and get it done, get the feel there, get the groove there, get the atmosphere going for that 2 weeks.
I appreciate that you brought up something very important, that you don't take your guys' self too seriously. I think oftentimes in this day and age in 2023, everybody is so hard on themselves. As a result, sometimes they miss some of the part of the life that they're getting to live in terms of putting out some good jams. And that's one thing that I appreciate, especially about this new album. Like you said, it's a girls' school album. It's nothing else. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just trying to make you have a good time, party. It's very aggressive, and again, it's a burner. It's a lot of fun. So, what are your final thoughts on the album after you listen to it and after it's getting released? By the way, it's released now, so America and everybody in the world can enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm just glad. I'm just think people will hear it's Girls School. 45 years on, we still sound like Girls School. We're never going to sound any different because we're not trying to get in the latest fad or the latest thing that's going on in the world. We just don't care. It's like, this is what we do. This is what we do best. We try to be something else. It'll come out as us trying to be somebody else. So
Right.
we just do what we do, plug in the guitar. What about this for riff? What about this for a vocal? Go.
When I see some of the videos that especially the recent ones, and we'll talk about that because I know you have a collaboration of sorts with Alcatrazz of all bands, and that's one of my favorite groups. I interviewed them a couple of years ago, and they had told me that they were going to get ready to hit the road with you out in Europe, and I was so bummed because I'm like, in Europe, when are we going to ever get to see? I haven't seen Alcatraz since 1984. And I've never had the pleasure of seeing you all live. I don't know if you've made it down in the New Mexico area before. I know you've toured extensively across the world, but I can't recall a time here in Albuquerque. But you have kind of a symbiotic relationship with them. So what's going on with you and what's going on with Alcatraz?
Well, we're on the same management label and we're on the same record label. So we just had a tour. This is like before COVID or just as COVID was hitting. We were in the UK doing a small tour here, about 14 dates. And we just got on really well. It just works because the Girls' School are like, there's rawness and like punky and rocky and just simple. And then Alcatraz go on, and they've got all the whistles and bells. Joe's doing all his bits, and he's very twiddly with the guitar and keyboards. So it's like a contrast of music, which I think the fans like because it's two rock bands, but very different. So
Yeah.
you've got a bit of variety. And we just all got on really well on the tour. So we decided to do it again. And of course, the single came about because when we were on the European tour, they were recording their album at the time. So Jimmy asked us, come and do some backing vocals. So we went into his hotel room and did some backing vocals on one of the songs, Don't Get Mad, Get Even.
Right.
And it was just a bit of fun, like 5 minutes. Yeah, that's it. We got it. And we decided, we've got to put them on our album when we do ours. But of course, by then they'd all gone back to America and Scotland and wherever they live. And they weren't around. So we got Joe. Joe wrote a guitar riff. He sent it to us and we really liked it. So Kim put some words to it and an idea. I learnt the riff. We went in the studio, we recorded it. And at the end of it, we thought, well, they're still not on the album. So Kim says, well, why don't we get Joe to put some extra guitars over the top of what you've already done? So, yeah, so he came in and put some twiddly bits in it, as I call it, twiddly widdly bits. So that's why he's on the album playing on that song, because he actually wrote the actual riff and played on it as well. So, yeah, it all worked out quite well. So then the video's tied together as well. Because the cartoon video that Alcatraz did, we were in it, doing backing vocals, obviously. And then the record company decided to have the same idea for Are You Ready? And put Joe in it, being rescued by us. So, yeah, so that's how all that happened. Seems to work well. And we like that idea, so we didn't have to be in the video.
Right. And that would be guitarist Joe Stump, one of the finest shredders that has ever existed. And again, it's kind of like a two-part little series of videos in which he gets kidnapped and you subsequently, like you mentioned, you rescue him on the next video, which is really cool. What is it like to play you've had so many guest musicians and you have some others that we'll talk about, including more Joe Stump on some of the songs, but what's it like just jamming with him, having him appear on some of your songs? I mean, again, a master shredder, a fast, very aggressive style that he plays, but I kind of feel he's underrated to some degree.
I mean, he's a great guitar player, really, really different. I mean, really different to Girlschool. So, but he just played on that one song on the album, but it made it stand out a little bit. So it's different, you made it sound different. Yeah, it's been fun watching him on stage every night, tearing his guitars apart, throwing him around. I'm like, every time he throws one, I'm, oh my God, expensive guitars gone. But he's great. He really is cool.
When
he's just Joe to us.
Right. When you think of guys like Joe, or who was a guitar player that you have kind of like maybe one of your all-time favorites, have you kind of modeled your style after or just influenced you overall?
The two guitarists that I really like all my career has been Brian May from Queen. Okay. I love his style and he's melodic. I love the melodic stuff, especially when he does a solo. It's quite melodic. It's not shredding. It's kind of melodic. And I like Billy Duffy from the Cult. The Cult.
Oh yeah.
I just like his style too. I mean, he's sort of very Led Zeppelin, I suppose, really. But I just like his style. I love his riffs. He comes out with some really simple riffs, but they're very, very catchy and they really add to the song. And I think that's the thing with both of them, Brian May and Billy Duffy. They play guitar extremely well, but they don't overplay. So the song is first and they back up the song, which is kind of what I like. I like that. I think the song is the most important. It's not about shredding for me. I mean, obviously shredding has its place, but just making the song sound better,
Yeah, I'm still in amazement that you guys are in partnership, because it goes back to almost like Girlschool and Motorhead, how important that partnership is. Again, you are not just some female act fly by night, gimmick thing. You guys are a brotherhood and a sisterhood with other bands, and what you guys bring to the table is fascinating, and it's a lot of fun. And I really love the Alcatraz collaboration. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Let's hope we get there. I think there's talks to get there. We're going to South America in September, and there are talks that we will be in America in November. Fingers crossed. It's quite hopeful. Yeah. I think there's going to be a part 1 and part 2.
Nice. Now, You do have another song on. It's the final track on the new album, What the 45, and it's you guys do a cover of Born to Raise Hell from Motorhead, and that has some more awesome guys on there, and some
Yeah.
Biff Byford from Saxon, vocalist of Saxon. You have Duff McKagan, of course, from Guns N' Roses and Velvet.
Yeah.
All these bands. You've got also Phil Campbell from Motorhead on this. What was that like working in the studio putting that song together? How did that feel?
Well, it was. I mean, we had to do a cover. We thought we got to do a cover version on the 45th. We tend to put a cover on each album, and we thought it's got to be Motorhead, and it the full circle. And Kim's boyfriend said, "Why don't you do Born to Raise Hell? It's just a nice, lively song, and it's great to be able to sing on. People know it." So yeah, so Kim got in touch with Phil Campbell and goes, "Yeah, love to do it." So he put his name down for it. So then we asked Biff if he'd sing it, and of course Duff. And they all said yes. We thought we didn't get another drummer on it. We should have got a drummer as well, but we got them all on there, and we're just singing and playing on it as well. We just enjoyed it. It's just great fun to do. Always is when you're collaborating with someone. It's just amazing.
Right, right. Have you had a chance to play that song with them on stage anywhere yet?
No, no. I mean, no. Well, we didn't actually get them all in the studio at the same time. It's one of these things with technology these days. You can get the people to do it wherever they are. Because obviously
Sure.
Duff he was really busy. He was out on tour in Australia. Phil had done a few gigs with his band, and of course Biff's always out with Saxon. So it's quite hard to nail people together unless you're doing the same gig. But I'm sure if we're doing a Girlschool Saxon tour or whatever, I'm sure it'll happen. It's bound to, isn't it? But we already do Bomber. We already do Bomber in the set from St. Valentine's Day and Massacre, and of course we do Emergency always, which is our song. But yeah,
Right.
so
Do you still play Please Don't Touch?
do you know what? We've never played it live, apart from twice when Lemmy
Really?
was alive.
Uh-huh.
No, because it's kind of weird doing that one in the set because it's almost like you need Lemmy's voice really for that one.
Yeah.
So we don't bother touching that one. We've never done it live as Girlschool until we toured. I think it was I don't know 2015. I want to say the tour. We did it on Motorhead's 30th anniversary tour.
Oh, yes.
It was Girlschool, Saxon, and Motorhead, obviously. So we're on the for our last song, Lemmy came on and joined us for Please Don't Touch at the Hammersmith Apollo. I think that was 2009. And then we did it again on the 2015 tour, I think. I get my dates mixed up, but he came on and joined us again on the last gig of the tour and did it. So we've only ever done it twice live. It's quite shambolic, actually, because none of us had rehearsed it.
That's crazy. I would have figured that would have been kind of a staple in your set list.
No, no, it's not. People do ask for it, and it's like we do know it. I mean, me and Kim just did it recently. We invited to play at the Viva La Rock Awards, which is a magazine in the UK, and they did a little section on Lemmy, a tribute to Lemmy. So me and Kim got up with a house band. I got up with the guitar, she sang, and we did like Please Don't Touch. We did Bomber, and we did Emergency. So the St. Valentine's Day Massacre EP, which was great fun, you know.
Right.
Becky Bondage from Vice Squad singing on one, and Eugene Butcher from Viva La Rock. It's brilliant. It was just good fun to do. But it's not often we get to do it. It's just, I don't know. We just don't do it. Right. There's enough songs to choose from, and that one's really hard to replicate without his voice. Because you start singing his part, and you almost feel like you go, you know, it's a bit difficult.
It's a hard song to kind of follow at first. When I first heard it as a kid, and I heard it on No Remorse, that was my first real introduction to Motorhead. It was hard to find a lot of your albums, a lot of Motorhead albums. You had to buy them imported, and sometimes it took forever. It's not like today on the internet, you could just download it. You know, you had to wait for it, and sometimes it would take weeks, and you'd even forget about it, and the record store would call and say, "Hey, we got your record. Overkill came in or whatever." And it'd be, "Oh, cool," you know what I mean? So when I first heard, that was one of the more unique songs Motorhead had introduced, and that's how I got introduced to Girlschool. And again, it was kind of like a brotherhood, sisterhood. It's like, hey, have you guys heard Girlschool? And hey, that's that. Let me see, with helping this band out. It's really killer stuff.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's how we used to do it in the old days, isn't it? Now it's just a flick of a button.
Exactly. I want to talk real quickly about Kelly Johnson. I've noticed on the your website that you have a memorial page for her. Tell us a little bit about her and what what kind of interactions and what you remember of Kelly, because you mentioned that you had known Girlschool prior before you joined them. and then ultimately you replaced her after she had passed away.
That's well, I replaced her while she was still alive, actually. But yeah, I mean, she didn't die until 2007.
Oh, that's
So
right.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, we just hit it off straight away as soon as I met her. You know, she was just a lovely girl, really, really pleasant person, and we had similar taste in music. You know, we like rock music, but we like some of the other, you know, different sort of things that you kind of like. You shouldn't tell people you like
Right.
those bands. So we used to just hit it off and have a good time. We used to go out drinking all the time together. We lived together for the last 7 years of her life.
Oh,
We
really?
shared flat together. Yeah. So it was she was my best friend. Literally, she's my best friend in the whole world. So it was a really bad loss. When we lost Kelly, it was a tragic loss. We knew she was dying, obviously, because of the cancer. Wasn't a surprise. But
Mhm.
yeah, it doesn't make it any easier, does it? So yeah, it's been a while now. So 2007. It's amazing. She would have been 65.
Yeah, time flies by, and as we're talking about what the 45, I mean, again, this is in tribute to 45 years of Girlschool, just tearing it up and rocking it out. Want to talk a little bit of some of the tracks because again, it's fast, it's furious, it's nasty. It's what Girlschool does, and it really resonates. But I noticed like Barmy Army and Invisible Killer, they're two songs back to back. They kind of Invisible Killer kind of takes on sort of a darker tone, and I'm guessing it's what I think about was during the COVID situation and kind of how that played
Yeah.
out. But up to No Good is another one of the songs that just blasted me in the face, and I'm just kind of getting used to hearing all these tracks. Really killer stuff.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, Barmy Army was one, the record company wanted us to co-write. So co-write with a couple of people, which we did. And I wrote that one with a man called Tracy who lives in America, and he's like a writer over there. He's written for Lordi and a few other bands. So that was a good fun. So obviously I wrote about the Barmy Army because they've been with us from the beginning, the 45 years, the full 45 years. They've followed the band loyally, and they still do. Invisible Killer, Tracy wrote that one. I came in and put some guitars on it and everything like that. So, you know, helped out a little bit there. And what was the other one you mentioned?
Up to No Good.
Up to No Good, yeah. That was just a fun track we wrote, and Tracy wrote the lyrics on that one. She sang on that one, actually. She sang on that one and Invisible Killer. So that made it sort of slightly different, the album as well, because Tracy did a couple of vocals. So yeah, I mean, each song's got its own little story, and you know, there's no real thread to anything. It's just like, oh, I've got a song, I've got a song, I've got a song. So let's get them down. So yeah, there's lots of things going on. I'm trying to write about what's going on at the time. So the Barmy Army with us, the Invisible Killer, like I said, Tracy wrote about COVID, and Up to No Good again. You know, a lot of people are up to no good.
I, I, these are great songs to do what you do best. That's having a beer, maybe smoking some weed, hanging out with your friends, playing it super loud, or having a little house party and you just breaking out the guitars and jamming out. It's such a really fine album from top to bottom. Again, I want to emphasize
Thank
how
you.
great it is. And again, it released today. Today is when the release of this interview. So we're glad that it coincides at the same time. What the 45 on Silver Linings Records is your brand new album. What is it about the album you want more people to know, and what is the next step for Girlschool going forward over the course of the next few weeks and months? More touring, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of gigs actually. Yeah, we're heading out to Sweden and Denmark over this next couple of weeks. The festival season is on us, of course, so it's a lot of festivals. Then we're heading to South America in September. The plan is to be in America in October, November. A couple of gigs in December. I forget where they all are now, but yeah, around Europe. And then I know that next year we're going to be going well into next year for the 45th anniversary because, it kind of always is longer, and to promote it. And we should be coming. I know we've got a festival in America. So Hell's Heroes, I think it's called Hell's Heroes. So
Nice.
yeah, so we're definitely going to be in America at some point. Where and how many gigs I don't know yet, but we should be there hopefully. So we've not been for a while now. It's been a good few years since we've been there. So we're coming back.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
everybody's very excited. The minute that I had this opportunity to talk to Girl School, I was like, yes, no doubt about it. Legends
Thank
of
you.
the game, and you guys done a fantastic job 45 years in my life is actually just like it's absolutely incredible. I don't know if you ever see those shirts that says, "Hey, I saw Girl School," or "I was around when Girl School came out." You know, it's an honor and a privilege for that again. But what I think also going forward, what you've done again in the music industry, how legendary you know all that you have done and put together, and some of the bands that you've influenced. How does that kind of make you feel that you've had a part, you've partook in that, in all of us kind of, you know, growing up, and some of them, you know, some of us picking up the guitar and jamming because of what you guys have done.
I mean, what an honor that is, really, when you hear that. When girls come up to us at gigs and they say, "I picked up a guitar or I picked up drumsticks because of you," just incredible to listen to. Because obviously we were the same when we were young girls. You know, we looked up at people and, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to be that. I want to be that." So yeah, when you hear that, it's almost like, "Wow, really?" But it's brilliant when you hear that. I mean, how can you take that? It's just a compliment, isn't it?
Right,
Massive.
right.
And keep at it. You know, young boys, young girls, whoever sees a band and they like them, because everybody can do it. I mean, it's just, if it's in your heart, you can do it. You just got to put a little bit of time into it and enjoy it.
Well, I know you got to get running because I know you have a few other interviews going forward the rest
Yeah.
of the week. But I do want to say that definitely the tenacity that you've had, the persistence in continuing to churn out album after album after album, and some fine efforts. 14 studio albums and all the singles and the live stuff and just everything that you have done. It's been I can't be more grateful to you all. This is you're
Thank
fascinating,
you. Thank you. Thank you.
and
Thank you so much.
your brand new album is called What the 45 on Silver Linings Records. And again, you've got the tie with some Alcatraz. You got some really cool stuff. You got the cover of the Motorhead song that you guys did, Born to Raise Hell, with Biff Byford, Duff McKagan. That album is out today. Please, I implore all of you to check it out. It's really, really cool stuff. And if you're a youngster not familiar with Girlschool, well, you better get familiar with them now. Body of work is absolutely incredible. Jackie Chambers joining us right here on Zero Hour Squared Classics. Again, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on. Much continued success.
But enjoy the album. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, if I didn't have to go to work this morning, I would partake in a beer and a nice joint and kick back and listen to it. But then we'll do that later on over the course of the next few days of the weekend. Thank you again, Jackie. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you.
Hopefully talk to
Bye.
you soon. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Mike. Thanks. Bye-bye.